Today I'm going to be talking about something that has people more divided than my butt cheeks. It's caused many unfortunate souls to get ratioed on Twitter and clowned on Reddit. And that is One Piece mid and or should I watch One Piece? If you're like me though and you haven't been keeping up with this show since it released in 1999, hell, I was born in 2002 so I already drew the short stick. They already had like 100 some episodes by the time I got plopped out, so I was already playing catch up. I was already behind. But now, if you're starting fresh today, there's like 1,040 episodes, so that's a pretty big hurdle you gotta jump over when deciding to watch this show. Just to put into perspective how long that is, if you want to play catch up on this anime and watch from episode 1 to 1,040, and you take out the intro and the outro, so to about 2.5 minutes, that's about a total of 22,800 minutes, equaling 381.3 hours or 15.9 days of consecutive viewing. That's not taking any breaks to poop or pee, wash your hands. You'll barely even have time for breathing within this 15.9 day period if you want to catch up as soon as possible. But you gotta remember this is an ongoing anime, so you gotta keep adding time on top of that as more episodes get released. So long story short, you're gonna have to put an ungodly amount of hours in this. You gotta put Reddit moderator hours into watching this anime if you want to catch up in a reasonable time frame. But if you are a functioning member of society and you do like an hour a day, it's gonna take you over a year, about 381 days to catch up to this anime. So with all that being said, is One Piece worth watching, and is it even good in the first place? Well, I'm going to try to answer that today, and you may be asking what my qualifications are for this. You want to see my boating license or whatever. Basically, I've watched and read every single bit of it. I've read up to the current chapter of the manga, which is like chapter 1071 as of recording this. So I've put in those goblin hours. I've put in an unholy amount of time into catching up to this thing. But to go ahead and get into the argument and piss a couple people off, make them pump their fist at me and rue the day I was born, I think the show's amazing. I think it's the tippity top when it comes to anime, and not too many other anime can compete. That's not to say now I want you to put on an adult diaper and waller in your own filth for 16 days straight just to catch up. I don't think I would take it that far, but maybe it's worth it. But to go ahead and address the main issue people seem to have with One Piece, the pacing, the reason they call it mid-piece that I most often see is because of the pacing. Mainly in the beginning, it's kind of slow, but you gotta think, around that time, every single anime was agonizingly slow. Dragon Ball, for example, they do like 2 seconds of plot, and then you gotta wait another week to see 2 more seconds of plot. But I do gotta give them credit, it is kind of slow at some points, it does drag its feet in a couple arcs, but it does get way better, you know, the argument. It gets better. Just watch it till episode 340, then it gets good. But in all seriousness, it's worth it. And the slow parts aren't even that bad. There is a reason, though, that it's mentioned in, like, the top big 4 of anime. You know, every time someone talks about Naruto or Bleach, they gotta talk about One Piece as well. It's up there with the greats because it's also great. It's on the Mount Rushmore of anime for a reason. But now to talk about the pros and cons a bit more, I'm gonna do this like a court case. I'm gonna lay it out in, like, case 1, case 2, case 3. You get the idea. Case 1 would be Eiichiro Oda is an absolute genius at storytelling, except in the beginning, like I said, it does kind of drag on, but he gets way better as time progresses naturally. The characters, the world building, all of that is insane. One of the best you're ever going to see in any anime manga, period. You'll definitely find a character in this show that you resonate with and that you just want to root for throughout the entire series. For me personally, it's Zoro. He's my absolute favorite, hands down. Chopper is cute as well. I really do like Chopper. But the number one's got to go to my man Zoro. And in the same vein as characters and, you know, world building and all that is storytelling, plot points, and just the tone of the story overall. It's very solid. Everything, you can really track what's going on. You understand the motives of each of the characters and what they're doing and why they're doing it. And it's just practically think of every mainstream shonen anime that you've watched. It's got that same kind of like serious at most moments, goofy at other moments kind of storytelling, which works very well. Because, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Just make it better. Reinforce it. And it's good. It's solid. Case 2 is clear if you have a set of eyeballs. The women are drawn pretty well in this, you know. Everyone can appreciate some unrealistic body standards and some big ol' anime titties. And one thing that might inspire you, might motivate you to watch all the way through, this is what the women look like pre versus post time skip. This is Robin pre-time skip versus post-time skip. Nami looks like this pre-time skip and that post-time skip. So if that's not a motivator to make you keep watching so you can see some stuff like that, woohoo! Bazinga! And just to play to both crowds real quick, here's Zoro without his shirt on. It's a hot man. I can admit it. That's a hot dude. Case 3 now will be the cons of why you shouldn't or why you may not want to watch it. The first one, obviously, what I already mentioned. Some of the arcs do drag on. Some of them are not that good whatsoever. But I think that's just going to be the case for any anime that runs for an extended amount of time. Like over 100 episodes, you're probably going to have some arcs that do drag their feet a bit and aren't near as good as what the peak of the anime is. For example, you got the Lost Substitute Shinigami arc in Bleach, and then in Naruto, just anything involving Danzo is unbearable. So those two things right there are going to feel like nails on chalkboard. You're going to want to skip through it or just give up on anime and try to have a normal life and talk to real women. But we all know we're not going to do that, so we just grit our teeth and we bear it. And to add on that, my personal opinion of the worst arc in One Piece is the Davy Back fight arc. I can't stand the Foxy Pirates, man. That is so terrible. I just hate it so much. But I don't want any of that to turn you away from the show because I think it's like 98% amazing and just the 2% is kinda mid. Not even like terrible, just doesn't stack up to the absolute amazing quality that the rest of it is. But to stop playing devil's advocate, to stop seeing both sides, in my opinion, the best 3 arcs is got to be Marineford, Wano Country, and Enies Lobby. Not in any specific order. I don't know if I could really rank them if I had to. I just think those 3 are the top, the peak of One Piece. An honorable mention would be Arlong Park, which does take place pretty close to the beginning. So there's a really good arc that you're going to see once you pretty much just dip your toes into the One Piece waters. It is a big dedication and a lot of time you're going to put into catching up, but I think it's well worth it. Where the manga is right now, if you're just keeping up with the manga that is, it's amazing, and it's only getting better and better because Eiichiro Oda is an absolute mastermind. I don't know how he does it. He's like a genius. His brain's got to be bigger than Dr. Vegapunk's, you know? He's just an absolute big brain Giga Chad amazing dude for making One Piece. The One Piece is real!